It's Champions League quarter-final day. We're playing against Atletico Madrid, one of our old stomping grounds from an alternative universe far, far away. We've got both legs of the quarter-final on today's episode. We now can't win the league, so we may as well try and win the Champions League as some kind of compensation. Hello and welcome to part 32 of Gunning for Glory. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we've got those two games against Atletico Madrid that I told you about a minute ago. Do try and pay attention. Goodness me. Nothing's happened since you were last with me. We had that disappointing draw against Man United. It's now looking incredibly unlikely that we're going to qualify for the Champions League through the Premier League. We're 7 points behind Chelsea now with just 6 games to go. That's just to get up to 4th place. 12 points away from Man United. Winning the league is long since over. We might not even qualify for the Champions League though. To be honest, it's starting to feel like this might be the last season of the save because we've not got time for 2 more seasons. If we fail to win the Champions League this year and don't qualify for it next season, I don't know if we'll do another season because the whole point was win the Champions League. And if we're not in it next year, we definitely can't win it. To be fair, I'll probably get sacked if that happens as well. So there's every chance the decision will be taken out of my hand. But the alternative is we win the Champions League and we end the save there anyway. So I'm starting to feel like we might be running down this series now and just trying to work out whether it's going to end in success or a final FM17 sacking to go in my collection. I've been sacked more times on this version of Football Manager than probably all the previous versions put together. That's not a happy statistic for me to have. This is the team that we're going to be putting out there for today's game against Atletico. As has been the story of this season, we've got suspension and injury problems. So Bellerin and Diawara are both suspended. Aaron Ramsey still injured. A whole bunch of players not registered because we had to unregister them to squeeze other people in. It's harder to register our Champions League squad than our Premier League one. All of which means we're going to have to play Renato Sanchez in midfield despite him only passing a fitness test for 45 minutes. The second half, Lamar has to come on to play in central midfield, I guess. There's no one else who can do it. Unless we move Christensen forward and bring on Koscielny maybe. But Koscielny's played 1 game all season or something silly. I don't really want to bring him on for a big game like this. He's kind of past it now. He's about 1,000 years old. 33 years old. I mean, he's almost as old as I am in real life. That's terrifying. Sander Berger's going to have to play in a Champions League quarter-final because there's no one else to play in central midfield, and Asensio's going to be in there as well. We desperately need Diawara back, and Xhaka would be handy if he could decide to get fit again. It's all becoming a little bit of a mess. And of course, Mesut Ozil as well, just coming back from injury. He's only passed a fitness test for 60 minutes. Normally Lamar would come on, but Lamar will have already come on at half-time for Sanchez, so Dembele's going to have to come on at the hour mark to play in behind the front 2. So we've already got 2 enforced substitutions before the game has even started. So, bottom line, we need a big win in this first leg. We're at home first. I would suggest we're 2 fairly evenly matched teams. We were described as wealthy or rich Arsenal against cash-strapped Atletico. Did Mustafi just score an absolute stonker of a goal? Since when did he have that in his Arsenal? Since when was he capable of that, though? We need to consult the tapes on this because I wonder who's actually playing at right back for us today. Because in 3 seasons, he's shown no signs of being able to do this. He's taken a touch and then hit it with his weak foot into the back of the net with less than 2 minutes on the clock. I mean, it's exactly what we needed. We needed a good, quick start to the game. We've got a sort of held together by gaffer tape team with players playing in positions they're not familiar with, like Mustafi, like Berger, players not fit like Sanchez and Ozil. I mean, Ozil was in, and with 3 minutes on the clock, we're 2-0 up. This is the best. I mean, this is the start we dreamt about. If we can be, dare we say, if we could be like 4 or 5-0 up by half time, then I'm more comfortable making those substitutions. Obviously, 2-0 at half-time would still be fine. What we want to be careful of is that we don't concede an away goal because 2-1 starts to look a little bit scary, and it doesn't matter that the second goal went in after less than 4 minutes. If we then concede one in the 89th minute and go back to their place with a 2-1 win, I'm not feeling massively confident in that situation. Sanchez is absolutely pooped, and it was Sanchez who was beaten for the header from that corner, and we've kind of desperately scrambled it off the line. Lacazette with the chance to add a third, and it goes straight into the arms of Oblak, who makes the save, etc. Right. Lamar on for Sanchez. I mean, it's far from ideal. We'll do that though. We'll swap those two round and leave it there for now. We're not going to make another half-time substitution. Dembele comes on in 15 minutes' time for Ozil. And we just hope the team doesn't start to fall apart when we start having even more players playing in positions they're not comfortable in. Because obviously, we've got Asensio playing as a box-to-box midfielder. He really isn't. In a minute, we're going to have Dembele playing as the attacking midfielder. He just isn't. Although we have seen him play very well there. But it's not the kind of team you expect to be putting out in a Champions League quarter-final against a team like Atletico. Because, Mustafi has undone all the good work he did early on. If they score from this penalty, he's actually on negative Kev points for the match as far as I thought ter Stegen had saved it. Mustafi has officially done more harm than good today, because giving away a penalty, that's worth a couple of goals. He only scored one screamer, so he's officially back in the bad books. He needs to score another absolute belter of a goal, or any kind of goal. If he scores again, we'll record his contribution as even for the match. But they've gone 4-2-4. They can smell blood. They know we're desperately trying to hold the team together. Dybala's in, and another good save from Oblak. We've played against Atletico before in this save, haven't we? And come up against Oblak in amazing form. I recall, that might have even been on FIFA. But I remember having a number of issues with him as a goalkeeper where he just plays out of his skin against me because he's a monster. He's one of the two that we were considering signing when ter Stegen came in, and he's now going to prove that I signed the wrong one. Right, Ozil, probably his last touch. Christensen comes across to cover. Worryingly, he's on a yellow card. I mean, that's a bit of a problem. He'd be an option to come on in midfield. Oh, Lacazette hits the crossbar. I feel like with an away goal on there, we need at least another goal, if not two more, for me to feel comfortable going back to their place. And Sander Berge, the youngster who came in for far too much money, might have just justified every penny of the £32 million we spent on him, because that's a cracking header. You don't place headers better than that. And all of a sudden, it's 3-1, 27 minutes to go, and the momentum's all with us again. If we can grab another one, then I go to their place confident. 3-1, it feels like a draw to me. It doesn't feel like we've got any kind of advantage going into that second leg. 4-1, and I feel like it's just a little psychological edge. 4-2, and I think it's with them. 3-2, sorry, even. 3-2, they're ahead as far as I'm concerned. Who have we got? We don't have a game changer on our bench. We just don't. I'm not going to bring Welbeck on for the two best players on the pitch so far today. I mean, Alex Iwobi, can you play in midfield? Can we bring on for Asensio? To be honest, you know worse than he is. I mean, that's a substitution for the sake of making a substitution. It just feels like we need to freshen things up a little bit. We've just conceded a second goal. They are absolutely coming at us with a 4-2-4. Ter Stegen should have done better there. And I now feel like if it's 3-2, we need another 2 or 3 goals in these last 10 minutes. And Iwobi's probably feeling most hard done by this change of system. Before the African Nations Cup thing, which I always say wrong, it's probably African Cup of Nations, isn't it? Whatever way around it is. Before he went there, he'd been out, one of our better players this season, and he turned up back in England again, and we changed our formation, and he didn't fit in the team anymore. So I justifiably probably feels a little bit hard done by. This might even be the first appearance he's had since being back from the African Nations Cup, and that was nearly 3 months ago now. So, yeah, very hard done by. But Dybala's in, and Oblak saves again. And according to one of it's not the official Kev's law, because Kev's law is all about points and relegations, but one of Kev's secondary laws is the law of the mugging. And officially, we're mugging Atletico at the moment. We're 3-2 ahead on goals. They're 3-2 ahead on clear-cut chances. And we all know that's how we judge a mugging. So they're probably going to feel a little bit hard done by. I feel like they've got the momentum going into this second leg. And I mean, if they score again now, we're as good as out. But it ends 3-2. The one saving grace is the fact that we have our players back for the second leg, and I'm trying to ignore the fact that ter Stegen's injured because we don't have a substitute goalkeeper. We play Atletico in a week. Hold on, when do we play them? 8 days away. We'll leave him with the physio. He can miss the Leicester game because we don't care. But he should be back ready for Atletico again. And you didn't impress. You gave away the penalty, you buffoon. More time travel coming up now. Oh, hold on. You have to do that for time travel, don't you? Leicester, you're welcome. We've basically handed them a pass into the Europa League by fielding effectively a reserve team against them at the weekend. We're already going to be missing ter Stegen and a couple of other players, so I've just rotated as much as I could get away with. Did get a full 90 minutes into Renato Sanchez, though. That's important. It means the Premier League table now looks like this. So Leicester closing in on that Europa League spot, which I think will run all the way down to 7th place. We've not got a chance of being in the Champions League next year unless we win it. So the whole future of this series comes down to this next game. And I wasn't expecting to have to say that when I started recording this episode. If we lose, we're pretty much just going to try and stick into the job until we win an FA Cup final. And then that's going to be that. And that's going to be sad. So we need a win. We need a win. We need to win the Champions League. Sorry, microphone. Sorry, anyone who's listening on headphones. That was probably quite loud. The team is as good as it's going to get. Injury-wise, let's just get the youngsters out of the way again. There's not really very much. Ramsey's still injured. He's obviously going to be injured forevermore. He's not even in our Champions League squad. So he's kind of irrelevant to us now. Poor old Sander Berge picked up a knock against Leicester. I gave him injections just in case everyone else wasn't ready. And he's had his injections only to not even make it onto the bench. Oops. But this is that we've got our front six, our dream front six. The front six that should terrify anybody. And it's the first time they've all been there and all been fit. So ignore left back. Left back's always going to be a problem. Look at the rest of that team. We should be able to beat Atletico. They're the favourites. They've got the 2 away goals. Lacazette's not scored for goodness knows how long. Iheanacho and Welbeck are both wondering why they're not getting a game. And it's because Iheanacho and Dybala, or Welbeck and Dybala, doesn't excite me as much as Lacazette and Dybala does. Even though Lacazette and Dybala doesn't seem to be working. But today's the day. Lacazette's going to decide he wants a Champions League medal. And he's going to go and get a hat-trick. I feel it. I feel it in my water. Right, Asensio to Ozil. Lacazette is there, but misses out, obviously. But he does pick it up again, and Bellerin's a little bit slow to react to that. But Diawara's across to challenge, and there was Renato Sanchez, and it ends up getting to Lacazette, who has 2 bites of the cherry. It still goes wide, and Ozil can't convert the rebound. Mugging law, again, one of Kev's minor laws. We're now ahead on clear-cut chances. So at the moment, in the tie as a whole, we're level on clear-cut chances. We feel like we're mugging them less right now. And Dybala's in, must score, surely, and he does. And we've got one of those all-important away goals. It's Dybala's 16th for the season. He hasn't scored for like a game now. And against Leicester, he played but didn't score. It was a bit weird. But he's rectified that, saying it's a through ball from Asensio. The man who's benefited more than anybody else from this switch to a 4-3-1-2. Lamar sits there on the bench remembering how good his first 2 years at Arsenal were. Him and Iwobi sit there next to each other wondering where it all went wrong. We might all be wondering where it all went wrong. Atletico have equalised. And remember, they still have that second away goal hanging over us. So if they were to score again, that puts them ahead in the tie on away goals. So a normal manager of a normal club might park the bus at this point. My instinct is, well, we just need to cancel out their away goal then. Let's go and get another one. If we score a second time, away goals are out of the equation until we score our third. If we have a 6-6 today, we're in the Champions League semi-final. So let's just attack. The only way we know how. I mean, it's not how we won the league, but it's how we've been quite good since then. And we probably should have switched back to the quite successful 4-2-3-1 by now. I imagine the game would let us win with it again by this point. But it's too late for all that nonsense now. We've committed to this attacking style of football. And we're going to go and grab a second goal here. And it's Ozil. We've got a man over. Oh, it's Lacazette. And obviously that means we miss. Iheanacho would have scored. Welbeck would have scored. I thought we won a penalty there. It did that weird deflection and then everyone stops thing, but we didn't. But we are building again from the back, and it's Asensio to Dybala again to Lacazette, who I thought might have been fouled. That's 2 shouts as far as I'm concerned for a little bit of something, but we're getting nothing. And they've got a man in here, but Kolasinac, he heard me say he was the weak link before the match. And that is a very important tackle. Dybala now to Sanchez, to Ozil, to Lacazette. What a beautiful passing move. It's just a shame where it ended up, because we just know he's never going to score again. I don't know what's wrong with him. You'd think this whole system would be built around a player like him being successful in it. And for whatever reason, he just isn't. We're going to bring Iheanacho on at half time, because Iheanacho, similar to Iwobi, was doing really, really well for us until he went away to the African Cup of Nations. He's come back and suddenly there's this Argentinian fella. He's Argentinian, isn't he, Dybala? This fella called Dybala sat in his seat and he doesn't understand what's going on. He thought he was the future. He was promised that we weren't going to sign players over 21. He thought he was the hot wonder kid striker. And then all of a sudden this world-class player much better than him has arrived. Oh, we can't get the ball through to him, though. I'm panicking a little bit, but as of now, we're still ahead in the tie. But it's hanging by the skin of our teeth at the moment. And Christensen clears. We've had 4 clear-cut chances today to their 1. If we don't go through to the semi-final, we're putting it all on Lacazette. Because I imagine 3 of those 4, I'm sure, fell to him. And if he'd have been awake, we'd be home and dry in this tie already. Right, Mesut Ozil not having the best of games. Luckily, we have Lamar sat down on the bench, who might want to just show me that he is a bit special. He can be as good as he was. Remember, when we made that first bunch of signings in the first season, Lamar was instantly the star. And he maintained star status throughout our Premier League win in our second season. It's just this year he's gone off the boil a little bit. Oh, that was a little bit too close. It's their second clear-cut chance of the game. We are still ahead, but because I'm me, we're still attacking, or control anyway. We're not going to sit back and defend this. Iheanacho's come on, largely ineffective. Sanchez not playing well and is injured. We don't have any central midfielders to bring on, though. Berger's sat there in the stands, full of injections, wondering why he's not even on the bench, and I can't bring a midfielder on. They're going to bring on Monreal for Kolasinac, because he's not having the best of games. He's booked, and I already said he was rubbish. Right, Lamar with the corner. I thought Monreal was going to nod that in and justify my super sub. Bellerin trying to build again from the back, and it's out to Monreal, who finds Sanchez. Asensio trying to just thread the needle, and it can't get through. Asensio has created a lot of chances today, but that is disgusting. The series might have just ended. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, Siri.
I'm just trying to help you.
Well, I'm beyond help now. Leave it out, Siri. I don't even know why you're chiming in. Has there ever been a more appropriate Siri? That makes it worth losing, because Siri's just a... Oh, no. Oh, no. Are we going to score now? It would be nice if we did. We've got 6 seconds. Please kick the ball towards their goal. Anybody. Well, we might win the FA Cup. How have I not been sacked yet? Hold on. How do we see confidence? They're still satisfied. How on earth are they satisfied? Premier League. We're supposed to win it. We might not even get in the Europa League. But they're not sacking me. It's because of that Community Shield. Winning the Community Shield. That's going to save me. Is there any back door into the Champions League that we can exploit? Because otherwise... Oh, no. Right. I guess we have to show the Everton game. We'll just do Chelsea and Everton. We can try and put back a Premier League recovery. We'll just see if we can get to the cup final. Can't believe that. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.